Hi guys, this is Carl Allen. Welcome to Module 8, Lesson 2 of Dealmaker Empire. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about assembling your deal team and why you absolutely need one to get your deal closed and across the line. Specifically, we're going to review the components of your deal team, and I'm going to show you how to find them if you don't already have them in your network. Then more importantly, once you've identified them, I'm going to show you how to negotiate the contingent fee deal structure we discussed in lesson number 1. Remember, a contingent fee deal structure is agreeing a set of advisor fees that are only paid if and when the deal actually closes. So we're going to go through that. First of all, you'll remember from module 1, I walked you through how you ideally need to set up your business prior to making acquisitions. We talked about how to structure your business as a three-legged stool. You as the owner investor at the top, working on the business, doing mergers, acquisitions, exits, joint ventures, and division and strategic work. Then a GM, a COO, or an integrator in the middle, managing your sales, your marketing, your operations, and your finance teams. And then we talked about how you can leverage your team to do some of the work as you start looking for deals. You should have been using some of your team so far as part of the process. Maybe your admin team helping with meetings and sending out direct approach letters. Your sales and marketing people as well. They could be generating deal flow using the networks inside of the industry. You could have been using your financial team, your controller, or some of your finance staff to do the financial modeling. Look at the deal synergies that we talked about and consider some of the financing aspects that we went through in module number 7. If you have a GM already or a solid number 2 in your business, they would probably have been part of some of the seller meetings or the conversations and vetting the deals, asking questions like, do the target companies strategically fit what you're looking to do? Are they culturally a good fit? Are the systems and processes going to be aligned? All those different things. So your GM will also obviously need to be involved in integration planning. They will be setting up with the combined sales and marketing teams a lot of that cross-selling activity. But now we're in the home stretch. We need to add more people to this deal team to actually get the deal closed. And we're primarily talking about our advisors to handle the due diligence and legal work, maybe even do some of the project management. So let me walk you through who's going to be in this expanded team. So first, you absolutely 100% need a lawyer. Even if you're a lawyer yourself and you own a law firm, you should not be doing the due diligence. You should not be doing the legal work. You should be using other people, either from inside or outside your firm, to get an objective opinion. Now, there are two parts to the legal piece. There's the legal due diligence to check that there's no litigation pending and that the business is safe to buy. And we'll get into more on that in the next lesson. And then the big job is for the lawyer to create the stack of legal documents that are needed, including the sale and purchase agreement, the asset purchase agreement if you're just buying the assets, the warranty documents, the seller financing documents, and any ancillary documents. You'll also 100% need a CPA or an accountant to do the financial due diligence. Even though you've done a lot of the preliminary work, they're taking a deeper dive and checking that all the numbers stack up, that the revenues are correct, the margins are correct, the balance sheet's correct, the taxes have been paid on time and have been calculated correctly. They're checking that everything in that business is financially sound. One grey area is the commercial due diligence. Now, you're probably going to want to do that yourself or have one of your team members do it. Again, we'll get into that more in the due diligence lesson, but essentially, commercial due diligence is all about checking the market opportunity and the sector dynamics. If you already have a business, though, in the same niche, you'll know all this already. It's understanding what's going on in the sector and how the SWOT analysis that we went through in an earlier module will allow you to take full advantage of the business that you're buying. For example, you wouldn't want to buy a chocolate company if you knew that in this country, chocolate was going to be banned and it would somehow become illegal to buy it and consume it. Silly example, but your commercial due diligence will tell you that. Your GM and sales and marketing people could also be doing some of the commercial due diligence, or you can go and hire a consultant. So go to LinkedIn, you'll find consultants, there's thousands of them in any niche, in any area. They can do some analysis on the business and on the industry and give you a report. And again, you can pay them a contingency fee when the deal closes. One optional part of your team is to hire a financing broker. If you're doing a deal that needs financing for a closing payment, whether it's equity financing, debt financing, an SBA-backed loan, all of those different things that we talked about in the financing module, you quite rightly might want to do that work yourself with the help of your controller or CPA. But there's a growing movement towards using financing brokers. And what's great about financing brokers is they all work on a contingency fee basis, paying them out of the financing that they raise for you. Typically, they will charge up to about 5% of the funds raised. So let's say you're doing a deal that needs $1 million of financing. You hire a finance broker and they'll charge you $50,000. That just becomes part of your contingent fee costs. And then what normally happens is they'll raise, say, 1.1 million just to give you that extra little bit of financing to cover their fees and other things. Next, let's look at how you find advisors to help you close the deal. Ideally, they're already in your network and have been advising you regularly. This is particularly important with the financial due diligence, having a CPA that's going to help you dig into the numbers and close the deal. I'm pretty sure you've got a CPA or some sort of financial advisor already. That's the perfect place to start. If they've never done any kind of due diligence for mergers or acquisitions, then you might want to look elsewhere. But most of the time, you're going to find your existing CPA is going to be more than sufficient to do that work. If you don't have these people in your network and you do need to go and find them, then you want to start talking to people during your deal origination phase. And you want to be talking to lawyers. You want to be talking to CPAs. You want to be having the conversations with them really early on in the process because A, they will have access to deal flow for all the reasons that I went through in the deal origination training. But B, in order to effectively negotiate a contingency fee deal, which you'll see shortly, you really need to build relationships with them. You need to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. KLT, as we call it. Build those relationships throughout your deal journey. Even share your one-sheet deal specification with them. Show them what you're looking to do. Get them excited about your growth strategy. Get them excited about your plans to build your empire. Tell them about the types of businesses that you're looking to acquire and the strategic rationale for doing it. Again, are you buying competitors? Are you buying businesses within your supply chain, or are you buying complementary businesses so that you can diversify into new and exciting corners of your industry? And building those relationships early on is really, really important. And don't forget the power of LinkedIn. We talked about LinkedIn as part of deal origination. LinkedIn is going to be your best friend throughout this process, whether you're looking for a consultant to do some commercial due diligence or for a GM to run the combined operation. LinkedIn's going to be your best buddy. Everybody worth their salt is on LinkedIn. It's a free tool as well. It's crazy. You go in there, you can search by person, by industry, by job title, job spec, people that are looking for work. You can join groups in your industry, in your area. There's even groups for doing deals. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then don't forget the power of Google. Just Google small business attorney plus the sector or plus the location, or CPA plus sector, or CPA plus location. There are CPAs that specialize in particular industries. Look for small local firms or individuals that are going to be agile and nimble and not charge you too much for doing this work on a contingency basis. And don't forget to leverage industry associations, especially for lawyers and CPAs. They're typically by state or by country. So if you're in Texas, for example, you can go to tscpa.org. That's all the licensed CPAs in the state of Texas. Or if you're in the UK, you can go to the ICAEW.com, which is the Institution of Chartered Accountants for England and Wales. It has a full membership registry of every single licensed accountancy firm that's a member of that body. And again, just to reiterate, it's beneficial for your CPA and your lawyer to have some M&A experience. It's really quite important. Obviously, if they've got experience of doing it in your sector, then even better, but that's not critical. But if you've got a commercial lawyer that's been advising you, say, on contract disputes and employment stuff, if they've never done a deal before, you don't want to hire that lawyer to do the M&A work for you. Go and find somebody that has that expertise. Now that you know who you need in your team and how to find them, let's talk about how to negotiate contingent fees. This is really important. If you've got an absolutely rock solid relationship already with a lawyer or a CPA, you went to college with them, they've been your buddy, you play golf with them, you drink with them, you play, I don't know, racquetball with them, you've known them for 25 years, then yeah, they're going to do the deal for you anyway. If not, this is a process for building a relationship with somebody over a short period of time, maybe 2 to 3 months, and then getting them to do contingency fee deals for you. So the first two things you need, we've already covered. First, you need the financing term sheet. If you're raising financing to make a closing payment, you need a signed term sheet from a financier. Next, you need a signed letter of intent to acquire the business. But then really what you need is the KLT. They need to know you, they need to like you, and they need to trust you. You've got to have built the relationship with these people. And once you've got that, what you need to have, absolute golden rule inside of your LOI that we went through in the last lesson, you need to have the breakup fee. That is really, really important, because what you'll tend to see is that you will pay a higher fee when they're contingent. So if normally your lawyer was going to charge you a fixed fee of, say, $20,000 to do the deal, they might charge you $25,000 or even $30,000 to do it on a contingent basis. Because whilst there are breakup fees inside of the LOI, there is still a little bit of risk. There could be some horrible stuff that comes out of due diligence. You might decide you don't want to buy the business anymore, yet still that advisor needs to be paid. So you can do a part fixed, part contingent relationship. Let's say the fixed fee is $20,000. You might be able to pay, say, $5,000 or $7,500 as a retainer. So that's your only risk. The rest of the fees are contingent on the deal actually closing. And I would say across my career, maybe 1 in 15 to 1 in 20 deals, I had done deals on a contingency fee basis that I aborted because it wasn't the seller walking away. I wasn't able to leverage the breakup fee to get the advisor paid. In cases like those, you just roll their fees into the next deal, and maybe you pay a little bit more just to true up the advisor. One deal I was recently working on aborted because the seller had a massive change of heart. This was a 100% no money down deal. There was no closing payment whatsoever. It was a really large transportation company, tons of assets, tons of real estate. The seller had decided he was just going to hand the keys over, but his lawyer talked him out of it. That deal ended and he paid about $10,000 or so in contingent fees. And you can also trade advisor deal fees for equity in the business. Let's say your contingent fees are going to be $50,000 to $100,000 if it's a really big deal. If you really think that your advisors will be able to add massive strategic value to you and the business over time as you build up this empire and you do more deals, then you might want to offer the advisor up to, say, 5% ownership in the business to partner with you. So that's your deal team, how to find one, how to hire one, and how to use one. I will see you on the next lesson where we get into due diligence. Until then, bye for now.